a really, really spicy episode. Okay, so in today's episode, we're doing another reaction video, okay? And this time we are talking about your wedding disaster, right? Brides are talking about it. It's in national news. Like, this is like crazy insane. So I'm sure a lot of you heard about, oh, I forgot to tell you who I am. I'm your wedding content creator. Today, I will be reacting to your wedding disasters. I don't even know if I said that already. Maybe I did. I don't know. Anyways, let's jump in. So, a lot of brides are sounding off because I don't know if you've noticed, but we've been having a ton of hurricanes, especially here on the coastal lines of America. And so there was a really, really big one here recently, and people lived on the mountains, and yet they did not think that they could be hit by a hurricane. So they moved there because it was like, oh yeah, like the odds would be very low for like the mountains to be hit by a hurricane. Like, we should be safe, we'll be fine. Can't wait to move there, right? They were wrong. They were so wrong. And many people lost a lot, okay? Meaning like underwater, talking about even apartment buildings on 3rd and 4th floor where water was just like throwing itself to the window. I mean, it was flooded. People saw so much trash like coming down the street like in droves because the water was so high, and just like, you know, because people have the trash cans out and stuff and beside the road, and it was just like trash like flowing down all over the streets. It was just insane. And so these wedding videos, they did not survive. A lot of them, like, oh, they're not doing well, you guys. This poor little town on the coast, okay? That is a mountain town. It's not even like a tropical town. Like, it's not a beach town. It was hit so hard, and like the beach towns were fine. Florida is okay. Like, it's not like Florida's okay, but it's not like in the best condition ever. We always know that Florida gets hit every year with these things, and they just rebuild, right? But like Georgia was hit really bad as well. And so we even had a friend that like, he like works on trees, so he like cuts trees and stuff, and he went down to like help people with like the disaster relief in the Carolinas as well as in Georgia, so in North Carolina and Georgia. And so it's just insane. The brides, like, what are you supposed to do when your wedding is the next day? So now this flood has come through, and the next day you're supposed to have a wedding. You can't get a hold of anybody, no one's answering phones. You've got family that flew in, you've got friends that flew in, you're excited about your wedding day, but now this natural disaster has ruined your day, basically. What makes it even worse is hearing so many people say that the venues keep their money because they say, well, this is a natural disaster, this is not our fault. And so even though you're not having your wedding, we're going to keep your money. Do you think that that's fair? Do you, like, just be honest, like, if you were a business owner, do you think that it's fair? Not even if you were like a bride or groom. I'm saying, like, if you were a business owner, do you think that it's fair to keep someone's money even though they didn't have the wedding because of a natural disaster? I mean, not because like they got into a fight and they decided the wedding's being called up. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about a natural disaster happened, and now your wedding venue, you're the business owner, your wedding venue is closed. There cannot be any weddings, right? Would you keep people's money and not give them the money? Because that is not something that I would do personally. I wouldn't do that. I don't think that that's right to do that. And I think that people need to think about like how you should treat others, even though like you're a business person and like you need the money. I get it. We all need the money. But if there's not going to be a wedding, why do you get to keep the money? You owe them their deposit, and you owe them for the day of the wedding. That's just the bottom line. Now, there's tons of vendors for these weddings as well. You got your photographer, your videographer, the cake person, the decorator, the designers, like you have a lot of things, linen, all the rentals that you have to do, the tables and chairs, all the renting, all the food, catering, blah, 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 right? You guys know all the things. These vendors also say, it's not our fault, natural disaster, you're not able to have your wedding, that has nothing to do with me. As a business owner, I would never do this. I would never, it's a natural disaster, the wedding is not happening at all. You have to make provisions about that in these contracts about weather. And I think that more brides and grooms, I think that you guys need to start asking about weather. And then don't go with people if they don't have a natural disaster clause in there that suits your needs, meaning that you get your money back. I'm not saying that it's like a downpour outside, it's raining, and there's still a way to have your wedding, even in the rain or under the tent. I'm not saying that. Like, I get it that people are like, the show still has to go on, right? I get that. But I'm saying a natural disaster where there's like trash coming down the street and like no one can go outside, and it's literally been deemed a national disaster weather storm of whatever type it is. It could be snowstorm, rain, tropical storms, it could be tornadoes, twisters, all that stuff, right? Hurricanes, everything. And hail. And so it's like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Like, I talked to you guys about this in my last episode about the advice that I would give a bride if there was construction and things like that. This is what I would do for this one. This is my advice. This is my trick, my hack. First of all, I would get a good lawyer. And I'd figure out how to get my money back, because I'm sure there's somewhere in there that you will be able to get your money back. That's number one. I wouldn't accept that they're not going to give me back my money. I wouldn't accept it. But before I even get to that, because that's going to take time to find someone, interview people, and have the money to even do all that, right? I would go ahead and more than likely reschedule the date. But if people have already flown in, if I have family and friends that have flown in, and this was going to be like a to-do, and like everybody is safe, everybody's okay, and we were able to get to each other, then I'd probably like try to have it at someone's home if possible. There's a lot of like community centers and meeting venues and stuff like that at like different neighborhoods that you can talk to them and see if like you're able to have the wedding like the next day there, and like they'll let you rent out the space for like $100 or $200. Like, it's not expensive. And like you have to figure out chairs and tables, or just do like a standing room only type of wedding, and then everyone dancing and just having a good time. But like, I wouldn't cancel my wedding altogether. I'd either reschedule, or I'd try my best to like have something that next day where we could still get married. Now, by this point, you should have already had your marriage license anyway. So, you should have that on hand so that you and your fiance, soon to be husband, can sign it on the day of the wedding, and that way, like, you at least have your wedding. The wedding, your wedding reception. If you really want to get married on that date. And like, if it's super, super bad, obviously, sometimes you have to just reschedule. Sometimes you have to reschedule, and you just have to hope that the vendors that you chose to work with are going to have your back, and they're not going to like want to keep your money and not allow you to reschedule. And so hopefully they understand. But guys, I've been hearing a lot from people that like that's not the case. That's not the case, and I think that that's just terrible. That's a bad business practice. I will let you know that right now. I think that that's a bad business practice. I think that like you have to put yourself in the couple's shoes, and I think that you should think about having more of a heart for couples, for people. Like that's who I am. Like, I have a heart for people. That's why I give away so much information on here for just completely dirt free. And there's people out there charging classes and workshops and notebooks and all kinds of stuff and books for this kind of information, and like I don't do that. Like I just have a heart for wedding couples and for people, and so I want to share my knowledge for absolutely no other reason except for the fact that I enjoy this. I just enjoy it. I enjoy it. And so I hope that people will begin to soften their hearts in this area and not continue to take their money, because money is like very hard to come by. And like I cannot imagine, like I would be devastated. I would be devastated. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This is so sad. It's so sad. Like I couldn't do it. I could not. But you know, if I had to, like I would do it. I would do it because that's me. I'm a planner. I am a like out of the box thinker. I'm a think on my toes person. And like when disaster strikes, it's like, okay, we just have to think, we have to focus, and we have to move on. We have to pick up. We will cry, obviously. I'm going to be crying the whole way, but that's for sure. Get out all the napkins and tissues and towels and towelettes, because like I'm going to be upset. I'm going to be crying. I'm going to be a disaster myself, but the wedding will still happen, and hopefully not too far away from the date that was expected. But like I said, I had people that flew in, and there's a way for us to have it even at like a park, or maybe not a park because it's a disaster outside, but you just never know. You may be able to even ask like a restaurant, like if there was a restaurant that wasn't hit that bad and like they had really nice, like, you know, a really nice venue on the inside, and you know, you guys are able to decorate quickly and stuff like that. Like sometimes we have a lot of stuff at my, like where I live at my place. My home has lots of beautiful decor, and like I would just take some of that and like make it happen. Just make it happen. You know, I know not everybody decorates the way that I do, but I would just make it happen. Seriously. For if nothing else, I would have a backdrop, a sweetheart table. I'd have something like some form of like an arch with curtain or something, where like we all have this stuff in our house. Like you just have to think outside the box. Like I have vines at my place. Like I'm telling you, the wedding would have to go on. It would have to go on. And so many of these brides are so sad, and I get it, but like you gotta keep going. I hit my head today, guys. It's so bad. I hope there's not like a big bump there. I'm trying to hide it with my bangs. But yeah, let me know what you guys would do. Let me know what you would do if like you had a wedding disaster like this, like literally the night or the afternoon before, the day before your wedding, and there's this big weather thing that comes through, makes it out of the news, like yours.
Lights, camera, action, baby, strike a pose. Phones and cameras out, just watch it all unfold. We're the stars of the show, ain't no need for filters. Living life through the lens, capturing our breath. Put away your phones and cameras, let the good times roll. Our content creators got it all under control. From weddings to events, parties, travel and brands, we're living the paparazzi life. It's all in our hands.
Lights, camera, action, we're ready to go. We're professionals, don't you already know? From TikTok to